Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much today for coming to, this evening I should say, coming to the second Miriam Vale Community Forum. It's a fantastic turnout today and we've had some great conversations. So we're now moving into the community questions portion where we'll be responding to the questions that have been submitted on our Conversations website or through our council offices and rural transaction centres. We'll be going through them in order of which one had the most votes, and we'll just work through them all and see where we go. So the first question, which I'll combine with another one because they're the same topic, but the top voted question is, the proposed renewable energy projects for Miriam Vale area are not suitable for our area. The projects only bring risk to our area. And I'll also add on planning scheme assessment criteria for renewable energy. Is it sufficient enough to protect the environment and communities? So for this question, I'll hand it to Rob Huth, our General Manager of Customer Experience, who is also in charge of our Development Services team.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I've been sitting at the table today listening to a lot of community concerns with respect to the solar panel developments and the likes. I can rest assured that our officers who assess these applications are well aware of the community's concerns with respect to these developments coming into place, and the retaining the rural characteristics of the area. So certainly our officers are well aware of that. So all of these are being considered as part of the assessment when our officers assess these projects for development. With respect to our planning scheme is 10 years old, and Council just recently approved a number of major amendments to be made to our planning scheme. It doesn't specifically talk to a use code for renewables, and that is certainly one of the major amendments that we need to include in the coming months. There'll be lots of communication and consultation, and the community will have ample opportunity to have input into what those amendments may look like. But with that in mind, these developments do get assessed under our biodiversity overlay and also our rural zone code. So there are things like the characteristics of the rural areas and the likes, and water runoff and all of these types of things are certainly assessed, and I can rest assured the community that our officers are very well aware of the concerns that a number of the community members are raising in this space.
Thank you very much, Rob. The next question we don't actually have a response for because hopefully the person that submitted is here to provide some clarification. What is happening to the use of buildings that once was the Mayor of Miriam Vales' residence? Can these vacant buildings be repurposed? Is the submitter here at all for some more information? Oh, perfect. Kylie Lee, our General Manager of Community and Lifestyle.
Thank you. It feels really weird talking to this when it doesn't actually make any sound, and now I'm not even in the right place. So we've used a community lease with the Agnes Water RSL. So they're actually utilising our former CEO of Miriam Vales' house. So that's an update on that one.
Great, thank you very much, Kylie. The next one, I'll combine a couple of questions, and it's a hot topic tonight. There's been a lot of conversations at the topic tables about it. The next question is, can we as a community work on a permanent, sustainable solution for flying fox control in urban, suburban areas? And also, bat management and dispersal, destruction of public open space. Maybe council will consider rate discounts while bats infestation is in MV. So for this one, I will pass it to Ali Moore, our Manager of Environment and Conservation.
I'm riding this shotgun.
and I've got some help from Kylie Lee, our General Manager of Community and Lifestyle. So we had prepared responses, but we actually had a really great conversation at the table and listened and got some good feedback from our community members here. So we just thought we would actually summarise some of the actions, or all the actions that we're taking away from today's forum, which is what Kylie Lee will mention.
Thank you, Ali. I just want to reiterate again, thank you for the really open and honest feedback that you gave. I empathise with you. I know it's an issue for Miriam Vale, and it's also an issue in several other towns that we have across our region. But thank you. We've listened, we've heard you. So the actions that we are taking away with us, we committed to communicating with you more around the bats. So we are communicating with you next week. So as I said to our table, please put your email address on our register so that we can talk to you about what we're doing. I've also collected the feedback from the group, and I've committed by next week to pass that feedback on to your state member with respect to your concerns around that state legislation and policy. Ali, I probably shouldn't speak on Ali's behalf, but I'll do the other one, that's an action for me. We heard you around roost management. So when there aren't roosts in the trees, we probably have an opportunity to clean the tree up a little bit. So to clean some of the dead branches away from those trees. So that's an action that I'm taking away as well. And that's yours.
My action will be to go back and look at the broader scale around what options are available in terms of dispersal, what costs they come with. We'll talk to our executive team and have a conversation with the councillor around what that looks like. And that will also include potentially ongoing funding or funded opportunities for landholder assistant programs like we've just finished. So we'll go back and collate all that information and have those conversations and get back to you through that list with what those outcomes are.
Thank you. Does that satisfy everyone's response there? I know not everyone's going to be happy. I understand that, but I hope that these actions make a start. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ali and Kylie. The next, I'll be combining a couple of questions. Next up is, are there any plans to upgrade the park? We've had the same equipment for 9 years. A change would be welcome. Along with, we asked council budget for a public basketball hoop and a tennis volleyball in spare area in Blomfield Street. So I have a response from our asset planning team. Council conducts annual condition assessments of equipment in all council-owned parks throughout the region. The results are used to schedule maintenance or replacement work that may be required. From a condition perspective, no replacement has been required for the last 2 years. Council will be moving to a life cycle planning model, which will take a holistic approach to identifying when work may be needed. So the new approach combines the annual condition assessment with other factors such as changing local demographics, usage, and community requests. Did anyone have any follow-up questions to that one at all? Yeah. Sorry.
I sent that question in, and it wasn't about replacing what wasn't working. It was more around, we've had the same things there for almost 10 years. Is there any chance that we could, take something out and put something new in? Or I didn't do the basketball hoop thing, but even that would be a great idea. Just do something different. It's been the same now it's a great park. It's a terrific park, but just maybe something, a different toy would be nice.
Yeah, no,
So
totally understand.
I wasn't talking about the condition.
So our kids here get bored with it real easy. Like, when you've got the same toys for 10 years, you get sick of them. So our kids now, it's good for travellers and it's good for tourism, but our kids here need something else for them. So like whether it's a skate park, a pump track, half court or something down there. Like everywhere else in the region seems to be getting, like Agnes is getting their skate park done up. We don't even have one. Kids got nowhere to go shoot a hoop.
Can I work with you on that one, just around the location of the piece of land that you were talking about? It's a DERM land or something?
Or for that one over there.
Yeah, we'll talk. If that's okay, we'll talk after questions.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
The next question is about DERM land. So we had a couple for that one. So the questions were how to rezone a DERM area for permanent public recreation space and weed control in DERM, corner of Menzies and Dougall Street. Yep.
I can answer the zoning question. That zoning of that land is already considered parks and recreation from the purpose of the land. So that's already done. It's just a matter of what we can now do with the land in terms of what features are there and the planning scheme. So it's already zoned parks and recreation.
From a weeds perspective, council haven't received any complaints or concerns from customers about weeds on the site as such. So we had an officer attend there today. I believe it's recently been mowed, so it's on a 6-week mowing schedule. So there's been no weeds identified, but if the community know that there are weeds there, then this is the first time we've heard about it, I suppose, so we could keep more of a close eye on it. So. Yeah, the same parcel of land over.
I don't know. Maricola was talking about like a fire danger, so that's where I thought she was talking about. But I don't actually know whether this is the part, but it's there. But I thought it's sort of technically part of the golf course where I'm talking about. Stop. Is that? Sorry. Whereabouts were you talking about that golf course side or whereabouts outside?
No, the golf side.
Yeah, the golf side.
And what about this fire?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before. I've got no idea about that one.
Okay, well, we might have two separate parcels in. I do have a map of it, so I might circle out after this is called out and we can have a look at it. Cool.
Next on the list is school holiday signage upside down in Blomfield all Christmas holidays. Was this deliberate? Now, I don't have an official response from council, but I'm very confident in saying it was not done on purpose, and we apologise for the oversight because that signage, if it's the signage I'm thinking of, is all about slowing down because children are about during the school holidays. If anyone sees it, please contact council, whether you call 49700700 700, drop into the front desk here at the Calliope office, send us an email to Miriam. Sorry about that. Your local council office will be happy to take note and we will sort that out as soon as we can. It does feel like we are all over the place, but we only have so many eyes, and if you happen to see it, please let us know. It's the same thing when it comes to potholes, for example. Lots of people see them and think, well, someone else must have reported it, but that's not always the case. So we always encourage everyone to let us know so we can action those things as soon as possible, because you may be the first person who's actually thought, I wonder if anyone else has put it in.
I told 8 councillors there a couple of months ago,
Yeah.
and they would have driven over it. I said, need someone to put a big pot plant out there.
It's not standard procedure, but pot plants, we'll look into that. Now, the last question that we have on the list, also related to roads. Blomfield Street needs resealing, poor quality, 18 months. So you'll see when you came in, I would have handed you a little summary form about how we were going to run tonight. On the back of that is some information about work that council is doing in the area, not only in our capital expenditure portfolio, but also that our roads team will be delivering. Now, Blomfield Street isn't specifically listed on those, so we will have to follow it up to see when it is scheduled next. But we'll be releasing a summary as well as a recording of these community questions, and I'm happy to put the more details in those when we release them.
As part of that Blomfield Street upgrade, will council consider putting in a marked pedestrian crossing out from the toilet area across the road? Lots of children run out from between cars. A lot of visiting people with grey nomads walk out from between cars. Will a proper pedestrian crossing be considered?
Yep. We can take that, and I'll talk to you just after this to put in a CSR for that, because customer service requests for things like that, that's exactly what they're designed to do, so that you get a customer service request number, you can follow it up, you get an official response. So those are all the questions we have submitted. I can open the floor. We only have time for about one before we wrap up. Are there any other questions from the audience at all? Yep.
I just want to check. Is there a follow-up meeting or some sort in order for us to know what the end result of what we're talking about? The only reason we know there's a meeting tonight is because we get a letter on our mailbox. I didn't even know there was one before this.
3 different times.
So a lot of people here today, they put a lot of effort to be here. So is there an assurance for us that there's a follow-up in order for us to know that the discussion that we made tonight is going to be action or something like that?
From the community engagement perspective, we will have just a summary document. It will be just a page or two, just summarizing the questions that we answered, some of the responses, and also any commitments that we made. So that will be sent out to the email addresses from the sign-in sheet. It'll be posted on our conversations page in the Miriam Vale portal. I got the location right that time. And it'll also have copies available. Totally understand. We'll have physical copies available at the council office as well. If anyone else has any other suggestions on how we can distribute them, please let me know. Yep, and the community notice board. We will do that as well. Yep, we can absolutely look into that. But yes, we totally acknowledge that not everyone has the ability to get online or even likes going online. So we want to make sure that there is a way to get the outcomes and the discussions from these community forums out to everyone afterwards, because that was something that we heard a lot about after the last meeting.
If I can just add to that. So when your new council was elected, I'll use my bigger voice, When your new council was elected, they had a very, very big focus on community engagement and making sure we could communicate with the community more often in a more meaningful way. So what we've done is broken our region into 8 different parts and committed to being in those regions at least twice per year. So every year you will have at least 2 forums where we can come together like this. You'll have access to your councillors, you'll have access to your officers, and we can actually work together on what your community challenges and community opportunities are. So that's a commitment that we've made, and that's something that we're really passionate about. I know that there's not everybody likes computers, but we've put little community portals on our conversations channel online on our website. So that will host things like this video, for example, that you can share with the rest of the residents, questions, things like that. So we're trying to commit to being more visible more often for the community. So please give us feedback if this is working for you. We're certainly hoping it is. We're putting a lot of investment of time and effort into these forums, but definitely we need to make it work together. So please give us some feedback. That'd be great. Thank you. Thanks, Tim. You lost your little thing.
Yeah. So that's the end of community questions. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. It's been fantastic, all of the conversations that we've had today. As I've said to a few of you, the email addresses that you sent us, we will be sending out a feedback form online. If you can do it digitally, that way we can get some feedback on how we can improve these community forums, because we know that each area is going to be different. The way they want to run these things they want to talk about will be different. So we want to get as much information back as possible. There's also a little feedback box by the front door. If you wanted to rip off a little piece of paper and write your feedback on there, you can also do it that way. So thank you again for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. And please share this video with anyone who wasn't able to make it tonight. Thank you.